If you're a real wrestling fan, you already know who this is. But if you're going in your head, Tom, who's Jushin Thunder Liger? Is that a Power Rangers villain? Then I'm about to take you to school with count them, four different Ringside Collectibles exclusive Jushin Thunder Liger figures from Storm Collectibles. Here's a debut attire and 3 different colors of a modern look of one of the most famous Japanese wrestlers of all time. NJPW's Jushin Thunder Liger, shown here with 4 completely exclusive, completely distinct looks. Let's unbox them right now. So my exposure to Liger, since I promised I'd take you to school, was almost exclusively with WCW. So those of you that used to watch WCW would know, or any of you that are out there grabbing old tapes and checking things out, that Jushin Thunder Liger was exposed to a lot of American audiences with WCW. But normally, he is a legendary mainstay in Japanese wrestling, and he's totally worth having a look when it comes to his matches, when it comes to his abilities, when it comes to his just really intense, elaborate wrestling gear. Definitely worth checking out some Jushin Thunder Liger matches if this is all new for you. Let's first look at his debut attire. You can see this really, really sick mask. There's a big jewel right in the front. Clear Japanese style, culture influence in everything that Liger puts together for his ring gear, and definitely with his debut. Have a look there. We have a little bit of shorter hair. This is not a look that he would ultimately be seen around the world for, but definitely a look that got him started, and a really cool look at that. Have a look at the front of the gear. We have a red upper body piece, and we have blue and silver right here with some cool treading, designs on the inside. Great articulation on this Storm Collectibles figure, by the way. Great sizing. Any of you that have had previous Storm Collectibles figures know that they have some really heavy, thick sizes, but this one, it'll match up with your other wrestling action figures great. Totally worth grabbing. So if you were worried about that and worried about the size, now's your chance to see that it goes along with all the rest of your wrestling action figures. Check out the belt right here. Just so cool, so shiny. You can feel that there's kind of a, I hate to use the word rubber because I think everyone's wrong when they call this rubber, but there's some elasticity to the plastic in what he's wearing, and it's really cool. It makes it, pulled his arm off there, but his arm, it comes off, pops right back on. That's what makes these such great figures. They're full of articulation and able to be readjusted at any time. So have a look here at the gold trunks that he's wearing. You can see on the back that gold and blue pattern just stretches across the entirety of the figure. And down the tights, down his tights right here, we have more blue and gold. And all the way down to his wrestling boots, which are actually a pretty classic style with some white laces, these kind of mustard yellow boots. Just goes to show how well that Thunder Liger fits into the wrestling world for those of us that know him. So totally worth checking out this debut exclusive of Jushin Thunder Liger that's only available with Ringside Collectibles. Also, it wouldn't be a Storm Collectibles figure without some interchangeable hands. We have these, and these. Now, as you can see by not just one, not just two, not just three, but 4 different distinct looks with Ringside Collectibles, Jushin Thunder Liger has put a lot of energy, time, and effort into his gear. So that's why we're gonna crack these open. Many of you might think, they're all pretty much the same except they're come in different colors. That's not the case. There's some really specific details here that come out and show just how important the gear is to a legendary wrestler like this. Let's grab the green one first, because green's my favorite color, so we'll crack this one open and have a look at it. For those of you that don't know, Jushin Thunder Liger is a WWE Hall of Famer, so if you're really into wrestling and WWE's your first place, maybe not NJPW, Jushin Thunder Liger is still a guy that you should know about. Had some matches in NXT before things got, really serious and really Hall of Fame worthy for him, so totally worth checking out some matches for this guy right here. So here's a look at the green exclusive Jushin Thunder Liger figure. We have a really elaborate mask. Check that out. And this is a really noticeable mask. And now Those of you that looked at the debut attire and were maybe a little confused are probably thinking, actually, I do know who this is, and I'm not a phony wrestling fan like Tom's saying I am. But that's okay. We'll have a look at this right now just so you can refresh your memory. Sure, that's what everyone says. Check out his mask, the horns, the diamond again in the top, these fangs that show up, the way that his eyes look, just a really, really cool look for a guy like this. And it just makes me wish that maybe he had a sooner, longer WWE run, because it's just such an awesome guy, not just in ability, but in look to watch wrestle. If you look in the back, you can see the laces of the mask, the separation of his hair, great attention to detail from Storm Collectibles. Also, his vest right here is strapped on, movable, and really adds to the articulation of this figure. So already he can pull off just an insane amount of poses and moves, but the way that a vest like this is flexible just adds to how awesome a wrestling figure like this can really be. We have some gauntlets here on the side with some horns that kind of come down, and you can see on the rest of his gear it's a green and gold color scheme. Really awesome, shines really nice. We have that molded belt right there. On the back, the color scheme and patterns are still there. The articulation, again, like I told you before, is what you're used to for wrestling action figures, and this is a totally great fit for your collection. One, if you're not familiar with Jushin Liger, but two, if you're somebody that's been looking for a figure and maybe holding out hope for him being in a line you're more familiar with, you're really missing out here because this is a good one. Even his kick pads, you can see right here, there's a little bit of adjustment to the mold on here, and you can push that up, and it just, again, adds to the articulation, makes it look really good. So, great color with the green right here. Keep an eye out for how this looks and how we can look at the differences with the other colors. We'll open the red version next, which I think is what a lot of folks are familiar with. He never looked exactly like this, at least to my memory, on some of the American shows that we've seen, but it's pretty close to what your expectations would be for those of you that know Jushin Thunder Liger. So this figure comes out of the packaging with a little bit more protection. As you can see, there's some plastic here to keep the cape that he has, this cloth cape, geez, I didn't even know this was here, from staining the figure. So we'll just go ahead and pull that plastic off real quick so we can take a closer look at this one. Again, there's the mask, the face that we all know. This one should probably look the most familiar to everyone. Here's the horns with some gold tips, and on the top here, where we saw that blue jewel before, we have some gold and green detail. The fangs are still there, the eyes are still dope. His hair is the way that it is. Again, that mask detail on the back with the lacing and the separation of hair. Also on the back, that vest. You can see the other aspects of the silver and the red and the gold that are also on the front. They're on the back as well. So really cool molded vest right here. You lift it up, you can see underneath and see that he's got that gold and bluish green emblem on his chest right here and on his stomach. Just an all around really cool guy. I can't really think of anybody else that could do it like he does with this type of gear. You see the horns on his gauntlets again right here. He's coming with some, like we saw before, there's interchangeable hands, but this one's packaged with a couple of fists, so you know that he's just ready for a fight. And this is a great looking figure, just an incredible exclusive from Storm Collectibles, who went all out here to really make this look good. Check out the molded belt with the white in front. The lacing is right there as well too. It's textured so you can feel it on top. It's not just painted on. And we have a black and red color scheme on his tights. It goes all the way down to his boots, which are red with red kick pads on the front. So definitely a great representation of some Japanese style. And this cape, it's a little bit weighted at the bottom. There's some wiring in here. So when you do pose this up, it's gonna look dope with the rest of your figure collection. And this is a guy with some of the most intense, most elaborate gear of all time, and one of the wildest looks of all time. And here he is, represented in red right here. One more version to look at. Let's take a look at the purple version. These are all three Ringside Collectibles exclusives, by the way, if you hadn't heard me say it enough. Here's the purple version. Also really elaborate, also really cool, and also about to get opened right now, even though it's an exclusive, because I open my wrestling action figures, and I especially open 4 different versions of Jushin Thunder Liger. Don't forget, there are tons of hands accessories with each Jushin Thunder Liger figure. It's 2, 4, 6, 8 pairs total, 10 pairs including the ones that are already on the figure, and there's tons to go around. I'm starting to get them mixed up. What can I say? I have 4 different versions of this legendary wrestler right here, and no shortage of hands to switch in and out of each version. Now again, let's have a look at the purple version right here. Great articulation, great look on him. Again with that plastic covering, which we're gonna pull off right here. Get it off there to make sure there's no staining on this figure or anything like that. Keep it nice and protected when it's ready to come out and play. And have a look at this purple version of Jushin Thunder Liger. Now this one, also really detail oriented, also really cool. We have the horns up here, that mask, again with a silver and green kind of symbol instead of that icon that he had in the first figure, the debut look. Here we see it match his purple and silver color scheme. We have again the fangs on his mask. We have the laces on his mask in the back and the separation of hair. That's pretty cool. This one looks a little bit more like a Dragon Ball Z style, right? This is like Vegeta's armor almost. How did I name drop that? I don't even watch Dragon Ball Z, man. But if you look on the front, we have these 2 silver spokes right here, and we have studs all the way around. There's a blue, gold, and silver kind of entrance strap right here, and you lift it up. You can see that symbol right on his chest. It's white and black, matches the purple and white color scheme, and you see it go all the way down. We have that molded belt like I was discussing before, and again another symbol right here in his gear, all textured and all just kind of 3-dimensional in the way that it's presented in this figure. Check out that horn again on the gauntlets. It's on this purple version as well, but you can see that the gauntlets, purple and white, looking pretty cool and looking like a guy that really knows how to fight no matter where he is in the planet, whether it's WCW, NXT, NJPW, he's gonna be respected and he's gonna kick some ass. If you look at the tights, they go all the way down to a pair of gold and white kick pad style boots. I shouldn't even call that gold, it's a little bit grayish kind of, so decide how you will. Maybe I'm a little colorblind, that's okay, but it's this kind of bright gray hint of goldish color to his boots down here with the white kick pads. And check out his sparkling purple cape right here. That is just dope. It's as cool as it gets. I didn't even realize that he came with this cape, and now that I'm taking a close look at it, you can see just how shiny and just how representative of a legend like Thunder Liger that it is. This is just so cool. On the inside, it's a gold color. On the outside, some shiny purple. True legend right here. So these are all open, and like I said, there's hands everywhere. I may have mixed them up, but the good news is we have 4 different versions of the legendary NJPW star Jushin Thunder Liger. These are Ringside Collectibles exclusives, and they're made by Storm Collectibles. Incredible articulation, incredible choices for hand accessories, and best of all, incredible, just unbelievably detailed, distinct looks for one of the most legendary Japanese wrestlers of all time. So have a look at WrestlingFigures.com, Ringside Collectibles, not just at these, but all of our Ringside Collectibles exclusives, because these are figures that you can't get anywhere else. You can't get them in the store, you can't get them in Waltar, you can't get them in Gart Mitt, you can't get them in Wall, Target, Mitt, Gart, Mart, and you can't get them anywhere like that. You gotta find them here with us at Ringside Collectibles, WrestlingFigures.com. We have the green version of Jushin Thunder Liger, the red version, the debut version, and the purple version. 4 completely distinct looks, not just repaints, 4 unique looks for one of the most unique wrestling legends of all time. Check us out at Ringside Collectibles, WrestlingFigures.com, your largest selection of wrestling action figures and accessories in the entire universe. Make it all about exclusives and make it all about wrestling figures.